Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well. As always, I'm here with an update on what has happened in Washington, D.C. this week. So let's get started with all of it. Last week I spoke a bit about the first rescission package sent from the White House to the House of Representatives. Well, I'm proud to say that we passed the bill in the House this week, voting to cut the waste, the fraud, the abuse that has plagued the State Department and USAID. The American people are done with the corrupt spending spree of the far left. For years, Democrats figuratively lit your hard-earned tax dollars on fire. Now, I think it would have actually been more productive if they had literally lit your money on fire when you take a look at the programs that they were funding. That comes to an end. We will no longer fund programs that don't save lives, like $3 million to produce Sesame Street in Iraq. We're no longer going to fund programs that don't advance America's interests, like $833,000 for transgender people, sex workers, and their clients and sexual networks in Nepal. I didn't write it that way. That's literally the way that they wrote it on the paper when they were requesting the funds to do it. I wish all of these things came before the House of Representatives, but under the Biden administration, they were just taking dollars out of the State Department and sending it into ridiculous programs like this, and that's literally the way that they wrote up that program. Before President Trump took office, Democrats saw the writing on the wall, and they tried their damnedest to shovel these dollars, as many dollars as possible, out the door to their favorite liberal causes like these things that I just mentioned. This package, it undoes a lot of that, and we're going to continue to root out all of that waste, fraud, and abuse, and it is every bit of that. It is waste, it is fraudulent, it is abusive to you who go to work each and every day. I can't think of anybody that wants to see their dollars spent in that way, certainly not me. Now, I want to talk about something else. Also this week, I had the privilege of partnering with the Everglades Foundation to host the American Everglades Summit this year at our nation's capital, marking 25 years since Congress committed to restoring Florida's majestic wetlands. Let me say this as clearly as possible. Florida's water does not belong to the sugar industry. It belongs to all of the people of the state of Florida. It belongs to all of us. And that literally means even if the sugar industry refuses to accept it, we get to have a say-so in what the management of that water looks like. Where it goes out the system from the St. Lucie, where it goes out the system in the Caloosahatchee, where it goes to the Everglades, what comes in from the Kissimmee and from the north, and all of the other flow equalization basins and canals and rivers and tributaries and streams, all of those inputs, we all get to have a say-so in that. It's not just going to be because it is the will of the sugar industry, and that's what takes place. That's what we fight for, to make sure that we never have any more toxic discharges into the St. Lucie. No discharges at all that we don't want into the St. Lucie. That the Everglades gets the water that it needs 365 days a year. And the same thing for the Caloosahatchee. It has to be a comprehensive system that works for all Floridians. I am proud to have been in this fight here in Congress for the last 8 years and on the Committee of Transportation and Infrastructure, and vital progress has been made, but we have to remember that the closer that we get to our goal of achieving Everglades restoration, meaning the water that needs to go to the Everglades goes there, and not to the St. Lucie, but to the Caloosahatchee where it needs to go. The more that system operates the way that it is supposed to take place, the more desperate our opposition will become, because it means they do not have total control over the water system. I also had the privilege this week of joining my colleagues on the Veterans Affairs Committee this week to highlight my bill, the Service Members Residence Protection Act. Now, anyone who has a friend or family member serving in uniform knows the unique challenges that military service members face: long stretches away from home, frequent moves across the country, deployments, training places across the country. As an Army veteran myself who has navigated the difficult transition home after deployment, I can't imagine anything more infuriating than returning home from a tour of duty only to find some trespasser living in my house, using our toilet, using our dishes, using our silverware, sleeping in our beds, watching our television, kicking their feet up on the furniture. That's what happens. This is the reality for many. We've all heard of squatters, and I was shocked and disappointed at the hearing to hear the Department of Defense didn't have a clue as to the risk this issue causes to our military readiness and national security. If a service member is having to worry about getting a squatter out of their house and the tens of thousands of dollars that it might cost them to do that, the lengthy court proceedings that they might have to go through just to remove a stranger from their home, then they can't focus on the mission that is always dangerous and very often deadly, that work of defending the United States of America. Now, I'm going to keep fighting until this bill is signed into law and our service members are supported with the resources that they need to combat squatters across the country, which unfortunately is a systemic problem. Most especially, it is a systemic problem in blue states. Our service members stationed in places like California, where those states actually give more rights to the squatters that are invading people's homes, just like they do to the people that have been invading across our southern border, as they do in those blue states. They give more rights to those squatters invading people's homes than they actually do to the service members. It's ridiculous, and frankly, it's just beyond sad that that's the state of those states. Lastly, on the House floor this week, we passed several bills related to transportation and infrastructure. We voted to secure our ports by prohibiting ownership of them by any bad actors like Russia, Iran, North Korea. We voted to allow funding to replace Chinese port cranes, their hardware, their software, and we also voted to make Amtrak more transparent and accountable to the passengers. The work that the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee does, it's so important to everybody's daily way of life. It secures crucial supply chains so that Americans can get the goods and the services that they need, and it ultimately keeps our country moving forward. It's about moving people, moving our goods, moving everything to where it needs to go. I was glad to see these bills pass the House of Representatives. I look forward to the Senate taking them up and sending them to the President's desk. And in that, as always, I hope that you have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you around home, and you all take care. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.